So to begin your paper crane, the first thing you'll need to do is fold in half. You want to make sure the colored side is on the bottom, because whatever's on the bottom at this stage is going to be the outside of your crane. It's what you'll see at the end. So you're folding in half. Try to get these creases nice and tight and try to match those corners up as much as you can. The better you do this, the better your crane will turn out later. Open it up and you're going to fold it the opposite way. Okay, side to side again. As I said, the better you do these folds and the more closely you match these corners at each stage will make the later stages more successful. Okay, you're going to flip this over now. Now you want the colored side on the top, and we're going to go corner to corner. Folding in half again, but now corner to corner. It's very important that you do the first folds, the square folds they're called, on the white side or the inside of your crane, and then you go the opposite side, the outside of your crane, for these corner to corner folds. This prepares you then for the next step. So now we've got the corner to corner folds going one way, the side folds going the other way. We're going to pop that out, and now you see it's automatically made this shape that naturally, when you push it, it just naturally folds in on itself this way. If you've done everything correctly up to now, it works. You're going to take one flap on either side. You're going to crease that. Make sure you crease the middle as well. Makes things better, easier for you later. Flatten it out nicely. You have a top that is closed and a bottom that is open. Again, very important. Position this correctly. That open side with the flaps there is the bottom. Okay, you have a nice line in the middle. That crease in the middle is a guide. That line, that side, is now going to meet the middle. Okay, not point to the middle, but side to the middle. You watch how it goes on, it creates a triangle shape here. Making sure that point at the bottom is nice and close. You want to get that as precise as possible. Put that line, that side to the line. See how that matches up nicely? When we fold that up, it matches to that center line. Do the same thing on the other side. Okay, now we're going to turn this over and repeat that exactly on this side. So again, that side goes to the middle, that last flap on that side. And we take this flap on this side and line it up to the middle as well. What you end up here is like a kite or an ice cream cone shape. You see it has the flaps folded in there. Now the next step is to bring down that top piece. Okay, try to make that as close as possible, as far down as that can go without wrecking those bottom flaps. Okay, fold that down, make a nice crease, and we're going to use that line now as a guide. Okay, this line is a guide for the next fold. You're going to peel back only the top flap. Remember, this is your bottom. You're going to grab that piece and pull it up, but you want to make sure it folds on that line. Okay, fold it back on that line. Crease it. You might have to play with this a bit. Sometimes you have to get your thumb in there and smooth everything out so it doesn't crinkle the wrong way. Those corners can be kind of funny. And you just kind of pull this back and it turns into like a canoe shape just before it starts to actually close up again. So you're pulling that back, and as you pull it back, you keep playing with that, and naturally it closes on itself. Okay? Crease those, make everything smooth and tight. If you don't crease these lines, everything becomes more difficult later, so make sure you crease these nice and tight. And again, the precision here helps precision later. Turn it over, do the same thing. Okay, so we're going to fold that triangle down again as much as it can go on the same crease, now folding it the opposite way. And we're going to use that as a guide. We open those two flaps, we grab that one piece, and we make sure that's nice and tight. And now you grab that one flap, pinch those down with that one finger, pull this back, and let it canoe, and then fold back on itself, close up again, and try to make that nice and clean and smooth. Crease everything. All right, now the shape you've made here is the basic shape for many, many origami figures. Now, when you hold this little beautiful triangle, you see that there's a side that's closed and a side that's open. We've got these dancing legs here, we call them sometimes. These dancing legs, again, are your bottom, okay? And now you're going to do the same thing at the ice cream cone or the kite fold, where you take that side and bring it to the center, okay? Just one flap. Remember, you're taking not both flaps from that side, but one. Line that up tight. Making sure that you have as much precision in that triangular shape and that point at the bottom as possible. Now we do the other side. We're thinning out these dancing legs here. Now some people don't do this step and they end up with a more abstract looking crane, and that's fine too. But in the traditional sense, in the traditional version of this origami crane, you want to thin these out so that the crane looks a little more delicate. Flip it over, and we're doing the same on the other side. Get everything nice and tight. Okay, now this last step here can be pretty tricky. Making sure that you have, again, the legs on the bottom. And this is tricky, but you're actually going to open up the sides. You look at the tight side there, and you open it up, and you're going to grab the bottom. This is actually going to be one of either the head or the tail. Okay, and the top part there is the wings. We're going to pull this head and or tail up, and we want it to pull. Just give it a gentle tug there to make sure. And it's going to fold the opposite way as you pull it up. You see that it goes from being folded one way to being folded the opposite way. And you find the position you'd like, the angle you want your neck or tail to be on, and you pinch that. Okay. So you see that's inside. It's between those two wings now. You can start to see the shape of the crane starting to take place. All right, now you're going to do the same thing on the other side. You open the side up, okay, and you pull to give it a tug so it's nice and tight. Fold it the reverse way. Let it kind of collapse in there. Find the angle you want and pinch. Okay. You might want to fiddle with the tips at this point, and straighten them out. There might be some funky little folds and pieces of white coming out there. You can possibly tidy that up. Okay, you decide now, do you want this to be the head or that to be the head? Sometimes I pick the one that's a little funkier to be the head, the one that's more smooth or perfect to be the tail. So we push that in, and again, it's the same sort of thing. You're pushing this the opposite way. You're folding it the opposite way within itself. Okay, folding it back in. I'm going to fix that head a little bit, kind of play with it. Okay, and I've got that head folded back on itself. Okay, and essentially you're done. The only thing you have to do now is pull those wings. Again, give this a nice tug. See how the back kind of dents in a bit, and that holds the crane open. You might even want to push on the back a little bit. Push it down a little bit to give it a nice angle. And it's done. Fly away, birdie. There you go. Congratulations. You are a pro.